What's up, everybody? I'm Brittany Held alongside Bobby Warshaw and Matt Doyle, and welcome to the roster reveal show for the 2018 MLS All-Star Game presented by Target. Guys, this is always a very exciting time of year. August 1st, this MLS All-Star team will be playing against Juventus, the most decorated Italian team in football Italian history.
Yeah, they embody greatness, and they have for almost a century now. This particular group, they've won 7 straight Serie A titles, which is remarkable. We're used to seeing them play to the very end of the Champions League as well. Everybody knows the big names. A couple of them are gone, so it's going to be a slightly new look, but I don't think there's any doubt that this team they're ready for it.
They're still going to bring a good team.
Yes.
And that's what I'm excited for. I like the fact that you use the word event, because it's not just a game. It's a full week, and all of the American soccer media comes in. Celebrities come in. It's a chance for Miguel Marón to have a laugh with Zlatan Ibrahimovic. The whole thing about it is just fun, and we get a chance to put the evaluations and the nitpicking aside on who's good and who's not, and just embrace the game.
I'm not going to put that aside. I'm not going to put that aside.
Well, this is the largest roster we have had in this format, 26 players, so we have a lot to get to. Let's jump right in with how they got selected.
So the first 11 got selected via fan vote, and 10 of them came from fans voting on the app and online. And the 11th, which I think is pretty cool, via the EA Sports More Than a Vote Challenge, where when people play with FIFA online, if they score with an MLS player, that counts as a vote. And this year is Carlos Vela. Probably no surprise.
Yeah, probably no surprise, but also a little bit biased against defensive midfielders and former defenders like yourself.
Undoubtedly prejudicial, and I will be speaking with EA Sports after this, but for now I will say congratulations to Vela.
It's very magnanimous of you. There are, of course, a lot of other guys on this roster as well. 13 picked by head coach Tata Martino. Always interesting to see that. Even more interesting, and of course, the 2 commissioners picks, which we'll be revealing in a minute. Yeah,
we will be, and the fan 11 is already out, so let's take a look at these guys here. What can you tell me about this lineup?
Well, I feel like we're not even allowed to talk about it unless we're from the state of Georgia and have on red and black. But what I will say is that the fans get to pick who they want to see, and I too want to see that 11. If you were to put those guys on the field together, I would pay to watch that.
There are some familiar names as well. Diego Valeri, last year's MVP, Graham Zusi. Of course, the transformation to right back is complete, and Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who doesn't want to watch the Lion.
Well, let's jump right into goalkeepers, Brad Guzan and Zach Steffen. Any shockers here?
Not really. I mean, Guzan has been nailed since he arrived in Atlanta last year. And Zach Steffen, I think it's probably consensus that he's the best young keeper in the league, capable of making some saves that other guys in this league just don't get to. There are guys who had an argument. I think Tim Melia of Sporting Kansas City, Nick Raimondo for 20 straight years, he's had an argument. And young Matt Turner from New England has been wonderful, but you can't complain too much about these 2 guys.
Does it feel a little bit like a passing of the torch for the U.S. men's national team?
I'm not going to put that narrative on Neil.
You're just going to keep it fun.
I'm just going to keep it fun.
That's fair.
Well, fun is going to roll right into these defenders.
Well, we use the word defender somewhat liberally with some of these guys, but I want to point out Alphonso Davies, who is one of the 2 commissioner picks, and especially with Canada getting awarded the 2026 World Cup, he gave that speech at the bid process. The kid is just a rock star on and off the field, and I'm excited to see him on this stage.
What strikes me, obviously, as you said, there are a couple liberties taken, but what strikes me is that these are all ball-playing defenders who, know how to initiate an attack, can push forward. Tata wants to keep the ball against Juventus, and I salute him for that.
Well, let's go into midfielders then. Who's going to keep the ball in this midfield?
I mean, there's a lot of skilled players there. Against you see Carlos Vela, who scored some of the most remarkable goals of the year, Almiron, but there are a couple of defensive midfielders, which always surprises me to see them in the All-Star Game. Ilie Sanchez, Alex Ring, Wilfred Zahibo, Albert Elise, a lot of fun as well, Bobby.
Is there a player in this league that you'd rather watch in a pickup game than Albert Elise?
He's at or near the top. I mean, maybe the guy who comes closest is Ignacio Piatti. So the chance to see those 2 on the same field together, I like that.
And we see guys like Jonah Dos Santos, Michael Murillo, Francisco Calvo, guys coming just off the World Cup. It's nice to see them get a little head nod and recognition for games.
Yeah, some of them had longer World Cup stays than others, but they're all here.
Well, what I love more than these guys are forwards and goals and forwards and goals and forwards and goals. Guys, this list.
It's exactly what it should be. It's forwards and goals. And, Joseph Martinez, highest goals per 90 in MLS history. Zlatan, he speaks for himself. David Villa, former MVP, and Sebastian Giovinco, former MVP, and of course the other commissioner's pick, Bradley Wright Phillips, maybe the GOAT MLS forward.
You do have to question Tata, though, leaving Bradley Wright Phillips off the original roster. Are you kidding me?
It's a little bit of bulletin board material for the Red Bulls for the second half of the season, maybe.
I want to pick your brains a little bit. Who else do you think got left off this roster? Give me your all-star snubs.
Okay, I'll start this one off, and my two picks would be Tyler Adams and Diego Chara. And yes, there are defensive midfielders on the team, Alex Ring, Wilfred Zahibo, Ilya Sanchez, but I still think that Tyler Adams and Diego Chara have been the two best defensive midfielders in the league. Diego Chara started 11 games this year. The Portland Timbers have only lost one of them. Tyler Adams has started 10 games this year. The Red Bulls have won 7. They are the driving forces of their teams that are at the forefront of Major League Soccer right now.
I actually agree with Bobby that these have been the two best defensive midfielders in the league this year, and I think they have good arguments, but they're not fun. Defensive midfielders aren't fun.
I want you to look Diego Chara in the face and tell him.
I will, after he's scythed me down and then smiles at me. I work with a defensive midfielder every day, all week. They're not fun. I want fun. And you know who's fun? Young players doing well, and that's what Julian Gressel is. Atlanta United fans stuffed the ballot box for everyone else on this roster, and yet you left your most innovative and valuable player out. And then the other guy, is anybody more fun than Alan Gordon? Don't we want to see Alan Gordon come on and score a 96-minute winner against Juventus? How could he have played 15 years in this league and never made an All-Star game? Gordo should be there.
I don't know. That is the big question. But let's get into your rosters. If you were the coach of this MLS team, who are you putting out in your starting 11?
Now, I want you to know this is my favorite time of the season. When I get to mold this team, I get to think about the combinations and the tactics we're going to play. And if we look at it here, the two players I want to point out, the first is Aaron Long. Because every year in Major League Soccer, there's a player that takes his game to the next level, and the All-Star Game is a chance to make that a statement. And this year, it's Aaron Long playing at as high a level as any center back in the league. The other one is Miguel Almiron. And yes, the All-Star Game is a spectacle and it's fun, but these are professional players who will have a little bit of competitiveness to them. And I want to see Miguel Almiron play against the likes of Blaise Matuidi in the Juventus midfield, because we have heard rumors of a little AC Milan coming after him in the past.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, but it's also, you're talking about competitiveness in an All-Star game. I feel like a bunch of the All-Star games recently have been far too cagey, and I will have none of that. I want to see a 7-6 result. I want to see something ridiculous. So that's what I'm giving you. It looks like a 3-5-2, but actually, since the powers that be decided Alphonso Davies and Yoshi Yachun are defenders, I'm going to throw them back there on the back line. But we're playing a 1-7-2, folks.
I love it. I love it.
Francisco Calvo stopping the entire Juventus attack on his own, and Zach Steffen. I want to see him getting on the ball and dribbling Juventus attackers. Throwback Jorge Campos style, Manuel Neuer, eat your heart out. This is we're going to do something different, and I don't care how many people yell at me that they're going to give up 7, 8, 9 goals, because we're going to score 2 more than they get.
I appreciate that. I'm
stunned silence. I'll accept stunned silence as a reaction.
No, I'm okay with that.
Right.
Well, we are always excited. Can't wait. So much more. August 1st, the 2018 MLS All-Star Game presented by Target is Wednesday, August 1st at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. You guys can catch it on ESPN, UniMas, TSN, TVAS Sports. And remember, for all of your All-Star coverage, download the MLS app. I want to thank Bobby and Matt and all of you for joining us today. Bye-bye now.